The 2021 May Virtual Southern Conference. Diversity in Tennis. Allan Jensen.
Allan Jensen is an elite pro and 25-year member of the USPTA. For 18 years, he's been a USPTA tester, and he has extensive experience as a director of tennis. He currently works for USTA Southern, focusing on Hispanic communities and outreach. He's won numerous awards, including our 2021 Industry Excellence Award in USPTA Southern. I give you Allan Jensen.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, USPTA Southern. It's always a pleasure to be here. But yeah, thank you. It's been an honor to receive that award yesterday, and I appreciate that. The talk that, as Kevin said, I work for USTA Southern, and I do a lot of Hispanic outreach, but I also do a lot of outreach in general with different communities. What I try to do in this presentation is to talk a little bit about what the USTA Southern Diversity and Inclusion is doing, as well as what we can do to move on with the diversity, as well as also the USPTA and the Southern Division, as well as in the nationwide. So let me go ahead and share my screen right now, and let me see. There we go. Well, when I decided when I got into this into USTA Southern, I was just looking forward to working with Hispanics, and one of the things that I learned is that here in the South and in the country, the communities are changing. When I came to the States in I would say like 30 years ago, there was not that much diverse population. It was the African American population, but there was not much Hispanic, as well as Asian American. So in this 25 to 30 years that I've been here, it's been changing. And we're going to go over some of the different communities and how they are getting together. So let me tell you a little bit about the USTA Southern came out this year with a diversity statement that basically says leveraging diversity and creating an inclusive environment is essential to achieving the USTA Southern mission to promote and develop the growth of tennis. We are committed to ensuring that people of all backgrounds have access to and feel authentically welcome in the game and business of tennis. USTA Southern strives to serve as a model for all organizations that aspire to achieve maximum growth potential by attracting, engaging, and retaining underrepresented population among our players, employees, volunteers, and vendors, knowing that we are better together. Let's just think about a little bit in when we go out and teach tennis. When we go out and teach tennis, how many diverse students do we have? Most likely, depending on the area where you are, you will see the different markets, the different people that we serve. So think about that for a moment while we continue. The USTA Southern has forced has a strategic direction, and it is. Diversity is one of the strategic priorities of the USTA Southern. We appreciate the importance and benefits of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and promote programs that cultivate this in both our membership and our leadership in order to share the sport of tennis with people of all backgrounds. They have four-armed approach. It's foster inclusive culture, develop programs to underserve, identify areas where diversity is needed most, support and encourage state and CTAs to prioritize diversity and inclusion. There is here in USTA, we try to attract, engage, and retain a new generation of diverse tennis participants. Just to give you a couple of different information to you guys, and think about it a little bit, is that 50.6% of kids under 10 are African American, Hispanic, Asian, and Native American. So think about that, and if we translate this into what our percentage of people that we serve should be, most of 50% should be, we should be able to get African American, Hispanic, Asian, and Native Americans to play tennis. But we don't. We have a big percentage of white players, and we need to figure out a way that we can get those participants, diverse participants, to play tennis. Also, there's by 2044, over half of the population will be people of color. All right, by 2025, millennials will make up 75% of global workforce. Approximately 4.5% of the US population identified as LGBT. And this is the next one is a very interesting information. And in 2019, Hispanic buying power reached 1.7 trillion. What it means, the buying power, is the money that the Hispanic population have to spare. That means, to do activities, to do different things. And I know about the Hispanic population is, we are competing with soccer. But when the kid likes something, the parents are going to reach out their pocket and help out for that kid to do what they want to do. The African American reached a 1.4 trillion. The LGBT recorded a 1 trillion. An American Indian reached $126 billion. So think about it. If you look into this, how many of those diverse participants do we have in our programs? And I think that there is a big opportunity here to share the love of tennis that we have with those diverse communities. And then the people with disabilities control approximately 490 billion in disposable income. So there's a big opportunity that right now, with all these things that is happening right now in the United States, is we need to think about how we can go ahead and get more kids from diverse backgrounds to play tennis. And for sure, you all know last year was a tennis boom. It's been great for tennis, and we have a big problem right now that we're in need of pros. So it's a good problem to have, but just to let you know, a couple of statistics is there's 4 million more people play tennis in 2020 than in 2019. There was a 22% increase in tennis participation in 2020. Nearly 3 million new players picked up a racket in 2020. All right, so those are new players, never played tennis before, they just picked it up. And I know stories from talking to other pros that they got kids from soccer, football, basketball, that they parents needed something to do with them, and they're playing tennis now, and they like it, and they enjoy it, and they're participating. So I think that we are in the right direction. We just need to get, more diverse participation. And also, you know about the introductory tennis rackets, how much they, we sold, how people are playing. So that's why we know that there is a lot of beginners, because the introductory tennis rackets was a boom. So we have to figure out how to get that. So now let's look a little bit about the comparison. Let's get into a little bit more into the tennis pros. And let me give you a couple of statistics over here. On the top of the slide, there's the US population. And on the left side of it, on the top, it just tells you different percentage of the population from what diverse ethnicity they are. And on the right is male and female. And on the bottom, you can see that there is, on the right, the male and female and not specified from the USPTA. That means this is, I call USPTA national, and they gave me these numbers. And, you know, I look at it, and yes, we do. If you look at the female and male, there's a more male than female, and I think that we can attract more female coaches. I remember 25 years ago when I moved to Atlanta, it was very difficult to find a female coach. Now there is a lot of them, and there are a lot of coaches are looking for them, and it's a great thing. So, but I still think that 17% is too low. I think we can get to 30 or 35%. On the left side, you can see that the number of white pros is almost the same like the U.S. population. So that is great, but there is a lack of Hispanics. There is a lot of African American, but also we cannot take these numbers because, as you can see, there's a 33% of not specified. So we don't know if it's Asian Americans or white or American Indian or Native Hawaiian. We don't know, but we still have a lot of work to do to recruit those players. So this is the USPTA board scorecard. What you can see is I went through the national, southern, and all the different 9 states. And when I talk about underrepresented, that means if they are African American, female, or Hispanic, or the other one. So as you can see, is we are working. I'm in the USPTA national diversity and inclusion, as well as in the southern one. And one of the goals that we've been talking was to start getting more diverse people to be in boards, be speakers too. I'm happy that we are here today, and I'm able to speak to you guys. And I think that there is a lot of good coaches around this the 9 states that are very good. We don't know them, but I know them because I've been working with Hispanic community, so I know all the coaches, and there's a lot of good coaches. And I do a Hispanic coaches workshop in July, and I have some of them speaking. I talking to one of them. I didn't know that one of the speakers from Kentucky was a Davis Cup conditioning coach, as well as a Fed Cup captain for Chile. I think he will give us a lot of good information. So we just need to go out and look for them. There's a lot of them. And, just to give you a little bit of a background, when I moved to Atlanta, I didn't know many. I only knew one person, a very good friend of mine. And he invited me and said, hey, let's go to this convention. And I went, the first convention ever. And, I looked like I was a fish from another pond because nobody, reached out to me. But now, after 20 years and being involved with the USPTA, I can see the changes. I can see that people are more welcoming, and I think that is one of the keys to get more diverse coaches involved with boards, speaking engagements, do more activities with in the tennis community. So I think we are in the right direction, and I would like to be able to say next year that these numbers have changed, and we're getting some more diverse coaches involved with in the national level, southern level, as well as in the states. So let's talk a little bit about why diversity. Organizations that embrace diversity are more innovative and do a better job of meeting community needs. A lack of diversity can inhibit an organization's creativity and even make it the focus of public criticism. Valuing diversity also means welcoming those with a range of experiences, perspectives, education, and ideas. So basically, having diverse coaches in our clubs has a different ideas. They have a lot of, each of us have different ideas, and when we put all these ideas together, and I'm coming from Argentina, we have some ways of seeing how they do tennis in Argentina. That could be a positive thing about having creativity in the workforce. Also, like the communities nowadays are all interracial. There's a lot of marriages between different, white and African Americans, as well as Hispanics. And so having someone in the staff that will be able to communicate and also be able to have some kind of common things will help to grow the game of tennis, as well as getting more diverse coaches. So when we recruit for coaching openings, I believe it is important to publicize in different venues to attract a diverse volunteer candidate pool. So one is to, put it in the USPTA, PTR, GPTA, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. Different ideas, different places, but also is reach out, to Alumni Association of Historical Black Colleges and Universities, different places, even like the PTM. There's a PTM here in the South that we should be tapping into to find out if they have anybody who will be able to join the staff. And also, I think one of the most important one, I think, is the seek referrals from diverse tennis playing population in leagues and CTAs and coaches itself, because we know people that are looking for a job, or they will be a perfect fit for that community or that club. And I think that is the most important one. Just to give you an example, I one of my jobs, I knew the director of tennis, and he knew me for being involved with the GPTA and USPTA Southern, as well as Georgia. And so it was easy, and he knew me from, being all over the place, and especially testing, because I was testing in his club. So I was able to get a job in that club. It helped me. It didn't say that it gave me the job. I had to go through the process, but it was an easy process because I knew the community. I knew where it was located. I knew the people. So it was easier. So I think that is the referrals from other coaches is important. When we are looking for that, I think that it's important that we, believe that we need to set a target for diversity, representation in staff, board, and volunteers. I think that we can do it. I think that this is what it gets a little bit iffy. The thing is, I'm not encouraging that we need to get a diverse coach, but if you have two coaches and you don't have any diverse coaches, and you have two coaches that are almost the same and they are good, and you could hire anyone, I would say that it would be good for your club to have a diverse representation of in the staff. I think it will help a lot with your club. Also, make a commitment to identify and interview at least one diverse candidate for every vacancy. So I think that nowadays there's, in tennis, we know a lot of places that they have a diverse candidate, a diverse staff. But, when you send it out, try to encourage a diverse coaches to interview for that position, and then report periodically on progress towards attaining the target. So action steps that we can take to put this in place is, first of all, commit to D&I. I think that we can all commit to it and say, hey, let's have a diverse pool of people that will come to our interviews. Increase visibility and awareness. Put structure and strategy in place. Enhance accountability and foster an inclusive culture. I think that is fostering that is like, hey, we want to be inclusive. We want to get everybody involved and not just certain type of people. Here in the South, we have a lot of initiatives that we have, and I have to tell you, they are not being, we are not taking advantage of it. For example, college scholarships. Southern gives out scholarships for kids that have been playing tennis, junior team tennis for a few years. You can apply for it. There's a few different kinds. Financial aid to top-ranked juniors to go and play tournaments. They can get that. Hispanic outreach. When we do a lot of activities in different states, there's some grants out there. Summer tennis camp scholarships. We do a lot of monthly D&I observances. And then we have program grants for adaptive tennis, diverse programs, NJTLs, wheelchair tennis, built for forward facility grants, and tennis scholarships. So if you want, if you go right to the number, they're down on the bottom, the tennis scholarships, it will take you right to where all the grants and assistance on Southern are. So Pat, you can actually, I'll give you this afterwards and you can send it out to everybody. But I think that there's a lot of opportunities to get these kids and, participate in tennis. This engagement guides, if anybody's interested on how to go and grow the tennis in this in this specific demographics, there's guides that will tell you a little bit about how to do it. So let me share 1 second. Let me give you this. Can you guys see this Hispanic engagement guide? Yep. All right. I guess you guys are.
Yes, we can see it. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So every one of those guides that I just showed you, they have a table of contents where we say what we believe, the opportunity, the demographics, coaching successes, stories. That's where it talks a little bit about, different programs that has been happening and how they did it and how it worked out. Getting started, putting your plan in place, partner up. So basically all this guides goes over, what actually do, what happening in the country. So for example, in this one, we just went through a little bit before, but it talks a little bit about the current population of Hispanic. Right now it's in 2015 was 17.6%. Most likely now it might be over 20%. So, projected for 2050 is 30%, and that was projected in 2015. So, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of information in this that will tell you a little bit about it. And if you want to talk a little bit more about it, you can always contact me. At the end of the presentation, there's my phone number, and we can discuss a little bit. And for example, on the next page, hold on one second, right here, it talks where the double the population was. And if you look at it, it's all in the southern section. You know, we have Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee. Those have been improving half of it. So that is remarkable that, you know, there's a lot of opportunities here to get the, you know, the diverse population to participate. And then it tells you a little bit about, you know, what else, you know, like different opportunities or how to get it started. For example, here is you know, it's putting your plan in place and how to do it, you know, like find an idea you're passionate about, find a local partner, you know, most likely it will be a CTA, execute, you know, formalize your plan and develop activation elements for your launch, exercise and have fun, track and monitor the course, correct and share. So, you know, I think that there is an opportunity here, and I would be more than happy to help you out. And like, for example, in this one, in the Hispanic, it tells you a lot about community contacts, USTA contacts, and national organizations that you could tap in and talk to them and see how you can partner with them and you know, get into diverse. Let me go back one second to the presentation, to the last part of the presentation. So let me see. We talked a little bit about the partner app, how to, you know, like when you want to do something like that, you should partner with any of these organizations, and there's more around. So it's just, this is just a guide just to help you out with that. And I want to just leave you with this, and you all might be thinking about, okay, how do we start? You know, where do we start? You start where you are. You know, Arthur Ashe, you know, I think this is summarize the whole thing is start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. So long as you do those three things, you will actually be able to do a difference in diverse and inclusion in the tennis pro career, in the tennis pro, looking for tennis pros, and on trying to get diverse population to participate in tennis. And here is my information. If you need to, you can always contact me if you need any, you know, any information or whatever you have. You can just contact me anytime. All right. Pat, is there any questions or anything that I can help out?
Yeah, we had, and thank you, Allan. This is a lot of material to absorb. You covered it. Jennifer Hornsby, though, early on had asked what was the African American representation on the Southern Board, and but you did cover that on the Southern Board, I believe it was entire. We were, as far as the Southern Board, it was a entirely white board, yeah. And with a currently with one female on that board.
That's correct. Yeah.
We can take advantage. Jennifer's in Georgia. She needs to come in and get involved with the Georgia board.
That's right.
That's usually this is usually the starting point for everybody. You start at your state level and then work your way up to the Southern level. So it's she'd be a great one to be involved there.
Yeah, and I think that people, you know, we need to start from the bottom up. You know, we cannot say, okay, I'm going to go to the national board. I think we need to start slowly from the bottom, you know, from the states, and then it will go into the Southern board, and then there you can get us more involved, and then you can get into the national board. But I think that having different diverse people in different positions is going to help out to grow the game of tennis.
and it's been said for years, and it doesn't mean it's the right answer, but I feel like when Lane Evans was our president, he made mention of this, and it continues on, that nobody's being kept away from any of this. Everybody maybe hasn't done the best job of finding that next person, whoever it may be. Yep. We've actually had some pretty good programs over time that have been put out to try to encourage. Kevin Theo started the leadership program, and that was to help people kind of get ready to take that next step to get involved. But I don't believe anybody's turned down for any reason.
Oh, no.
You're a past president. So yeah, it's been good.
No, I think that, with everything that is happening right now, nowadays, I think that people are more willing to participate and reach out and be more, help out, because there's a lot in the state office. In a state, you can always go in as a director of large. That means you can just not be in the board, but help out with the board, and then you start moving into the leadership position. But I think that, and that's what everybody started. I started testing, and then I started into being in the board for a few years, and then I went into being president of the USPTA Georgia. So I think that's the way to do it.
Allan, to add a little bit to that,
sure.
This is a nomination year. So this fall, we'll be sending out communications for people to apply to get on our state boards and even the Southern board. So in terms of a timeline, just be looking out for those emails, because everyone's encouraged to apply if they would like to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Allan, you mentioned about having possibly a document to send to me. If you send it quickly, I will get it to our person that runs this whole system that we're using, a coach's clinic system, and he can attach it to the video on the replay, so people can find it easily from there.
I send it as soon as we finish. I'll send you this deck of presentation.
Fantastic.
So that way you have everything, and you can pass it along.
All right, I think that was it on our questions so far. Oh wait, we may have one. Okay, we may have one more. Hold on. What resources are there for coaches who need to improve their language skills in order to coach bilingual? What would you suggest for those of us that are English heavy and impaired on everything else?
One of the things, and this is going, is, my accent, is very strong. And for some people, it might be a little bit too intimidated. But I think that it all depends of you, how, like I enjoy coaching. I enjoy teaching. And I put a lot of emphasis on that. And I think that you need to go out and not worry about how you say the things. I think that people will understand you, and I think that's what you are referring to. I think that if you're passionate about what you're doing, things are going to come out, and you won't feel like you are, okay, I don't know how to say these things or how it will come out. I think that it's just, just show them the passion to your students, and you'll see that everything will be okay. That's my suggestion. And when I came to the States, I went to an English school, but I was very, I was not very, I was not talking a lot. So I was very laid back, and I wouldn't open my mouth until I decided to say, hey, you know what? I cannot be in this country and not open and not talk. So I started to be more, talking a little bit more freely, and people will understand and won't make fun of you. They will help you out. My daughter actually is in Korea right now, and I'm saying, go and speak the language. That's the only way you can learn. That's the only way you can go out and do what you want to do. So
that's good. It seems like what I've heard, that some of the best apps that people could use are Babbel, Rosetta Stone, and Pimsleur.
Yeah.
Those seem to be the ways. They kind of have a little different methods, but they kind of immerse you into it. And I guess the same thing you had to go through coming here, that you had to just be immersed into it to get to the point where you could start to feel comfortable.
That's right. And you can always, people can just call me. There's my phone number. We can always talk, discuss it, and see how we can help you out to get better on that.